the grinds because they don't want to change it. You have to change it if you want to fucking get anywhere. And you know what? If you think about grinding, you know, an aspect is changing because you have to grind something down so that way you can change shape of it. Like, I was like, holy fuck, Christine.
This is why you're a hustler, though. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the GGP, the Global Grind Podcast, episode number 7. And this is going to be my very first guest, and I could not think of a better guest, someone real, a real hometown hustler herself. And I have to say, someone I really respect because you do not see a lot of people with her, what would you say, ruthless mindset.
That's our word of 2026.
There you
thanks,
go.
friend. I appreciate
How
that.
to use it, welcome on. But yeah, I remember I was coming back from a trip, kind of looking at kind of what my next moves would be, and kind of in the master plan, and having to reinvent myself a little bit since I accomplished my biggest goal of my life, which was open up this awesome gym, which is how I meet super cool people like this that just kind of drop on your doorstep from out of state. But it's cool how like-minded people come around. So without further ado, this is Christine Guzman, the owner of Made It Clean Co. Is a dance instructor, travels around and educates people on how to make their hair look fire and put product in it, and the list goes on and on and on. That's what's really cool. She has rolled and done jiu-jitsu before. Is, I think, a long lost breed as far as parenting goes and making your kids act a certain way. So yeah, I mean, there's basically just a lot of things that I think people can learn from Christine. So today we're gonna talk to her a little bit and just kind of dive into her mindset, because she does not make the excuse of being too busy. She does, I think, what would overwhelm a lot of moms, and has a smile on her face every day through the crazy. And,
everyone tells me that. They're like, how do you do it? And I'm like, how do you not?
How do you not? Yeah, I mean, you don't really have a choice. So yeah, we really see eye to eye, and I like, you know, I have a lot of ladies that are great that work for me, and Christine is someone who comes to mind as soon as I think of someone that I would want another person, but especially I think it's good for ladies to have examples of someone who really is doing it all, in my opinion. So Christine, welcome on.
Hey, what's up? So thank you, Matt, for the great introduction. I appreciate that. But going off what he said, we're all faced with different adversities that you could call them hurdles, you can call them what you want, but at the end of the day, you have to make sure to make that choice to better yourself. Maybe it's going to take you a day, maybe it's going to take you a year, maybe it takes you 10 years, but I just always tell everybody, whatever you do, you have to make that active choice, right? So getting where I'm at now, it didn't take me overnight. I would say, honestly, it took me 10 years because I would say I won't stop there, right? So I appreciate when someone says, oh man, you're a good mom. And we were talking about this the other day. I'm like, well, I consider myself like a medium mom, and an okay mom. And it's only because like I have that mindset that every day I wake up, I've never been a parent to a child this age. How do I adapt to this? Making them strong, making them resilient, but also the nurturing part, right? As a woman, like how do I nurture my daughter, for example, to be a leader when she's talking back to me, but I'm like, okay, how do we redirect this to make it something better?
It's such an intricate balance, right? And both sides of that are super important. I think that's what's really cool about you is like, and especially seeing you embrace having to be a hustler and really get down to business, but also having that side of being a mom and being a very feminine wife and all these things, because yeah, I mean that yin and yang, you know, I think is it's just super important. So.
Well, like you said, the wife too thing, that took a long time because I was hyper independent, and I feel so many women are hyper independent. They feel like they have to do everything yourself. Now, ladies, I was there too. Like, I'm not ashamed of my past. But I don't sit in it. Do you think that's something
that's like kind of like culturally established to us
No,
as of recently?
Can I say this and don't get offended?
Nope,
I think there's a lot of weak men. And by what I mean by weak men is they lead with not kindness. A strong man leads a woman in kindness, or their partner in kindness, right? So after getting a divorce, you know, my husband's very patient, as you know, yin and yang, right? But he led me into being that like soft, nurturing mother, wife, because he is a strong leader, but he also like treats me as a man should, with respect, you know, he takes control over certain things that like relieve me. So I've more leaned into that softer side of myself, but like, I mean, I'll still roll with men. Like, I still want to fight them. I still want to take over the world, right? I have a 17-year-old son who last night we were talking and we were just smiling at each other, talking, just reminiscing, because he's 18 now, so he's an adult. And he's like, we're so much alike. And I was like, yeah, that's why we butted heads for a period of his life. But he got to see me as this like strong woman who started businesses, who was leading women. And then he's got to see the shift in me now, right? Where I'm comfortable, I'm safe with.
It's a new chapter.
Yes.
And, yep.
And so that yin and yang has switched, right? Because my husband's more stepped into that like very masculine role.
It's because you're almost allowed to, right?
Yes. So I feel like that's where it comes from with women being hyper independent, is because a lot of men are insecure.
Yep.
And so they think that a strong man is somebody who is not willing to treat others with respect, right? We know that the best men are usually the quietest. Same thing, right? When it comes to fighters, when you're rolling in the gym, you see like one guy, I'm covered in tattoos, but usually the tattooed tough guy is the one getting his ass kicked.
There's different ways to be loud. You're probably compensating for something, and not all the time, but yeah, you're exactly right. It's typically the calmest person in the room that has the most power, right?
That's deadly, right?
Yes, it is.
So that's something that I've learned over time, but yeah, the yin and the yang is very important.
It's been cool to watch just in the time that we've known each other, and yeah, I mean, I think that it's tough because you, like, when you're in the moment, like you said, each day is just, whether it's parenting and business, you're trying to just take care of like, hey, what's the action that I need to take right now, and just being very present with that, because that's really all we got, is like building each brick on each 24 hours. But there gets to be a time when you're like, hey, wait, like, you know, things are different now. Do I need to change and evolve a little bit? And I think like you can almost stay stagnant, maybe just being someone that served you before, right?
Absolutely.
And doesn't anymore. And that's tough to like be mindful enough to recognize that. But I couldn't agree more on just having like weakness. And I definitely do think I've always kind of said that. I think it's easy for guys to point the finger at women, you know, if we're going to kind of get on that like red pill, blue pill topic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think then that's like the hyper compensation, is to be like overly peacocky and what would you say, like just like you should be the most emotionally stable person, I think, in your relationship if you're the guy, or strive to be. And I
Which
think
takes work too.
Oh man, I mean, it takes a lot of work, you know, and like whether that's coming out, like you said, in anger or envy or jealousy or insecurity, like no matter what it is, it doesn't come from a good place. And yeah, if you can find, and that's where like I've just always been like, man, it gets so complicated. So it's like just being able to exercise and get outside and try to build, like that's like the kind of rawest foundation of getting confidence, so you hopefully feel more secure in yourself. Training, you know, feeling good about your job and what you're bringing home, and then like when your woman does respect you, when your peers respect you, like you kind of know where you sit subconsciously in the hierarchy, right? And like when you feel good about yourself, I think that you feel better about other people and treat other people better. So
something that helped us was writing down our values as a team. And so when problems, while we're both evolving,
family is a business, right? If you guys don't realize
1000%.
That, right? It takes work.
Yeah. So while we're both evolving, like I said, if you would have talked to me 10 years ago, you would have been like, damn, she is tough. She has a wall up. She is, you know, just very different. But writing down our core values. And so every time like something would arise that would be against the team, we'd be like, okay, what are the core values? And one of our core values is fitness, because it strengthens your mind, right? And so we're like, okay, if something were to happen, because I'm a worst case scenario person, because, trauma, but, you know, and also being realistic. Could I pick up my child?
That's a business mindset too, right?
Could I pick up my child and run with them? Right? If my husband, something happens to him, because we like to do crazy shit, you know, would I be able to help him? He could carry me. I mean, he's huge, but you know.
Shout out to the big man,
And that's even jiu-jitsu's been great like that, because how do I roll his body? How do I manipulate that? And so fitness has been like a huge foundation in our core values as just a family.
Yeah. And you don't got to be in, you know, like where you're rolling every day, but like you've got to a place where it's like, hey, like you went to high school and you maybe didn't need to take calculus, but you got to algebra. Like there's like a certain level of like just different things where it's like, hey, you should know what to do if someone grabs you, right? Where you're at least at a proficiency and a passing grade. And, you know, like we've been out shooting pistols and learning how to do that self-defense. Like, you know, you're not always going to have somebody there or can't call the cops. So, I mean, yeah.
My favorite is when people say, well, I'll see red and then I'm like, no, you have 3 responses: fight, flight, or fawn. So fight, obviously, most people don't have that if they're naturally not putting themselves in that position. Flight, if you're not exercising, where are you gonna go? You know, and fawn is like you're just placating. You're like, what can I do to make you happy now?
Right?
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, and then whatever you've trained, you know, is probably going to be your reaction. And like, so if you're just leaving it up to chance or think you're going to handle the situation, well, it's probably not true. Yeah, it's different when you're under the gun. So
literally.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Right? So at any rate, talk to us a little bit about business. What kind of got you into business? You know, I think like that's, I've always been that, I think business kind of got glorified in being like an entrepreneur probably in like I don't know, like about the time I was getting out of high school, like 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. And like it was cool then, kind of like hustle culture. And not that it isn't cool, but I've been like, it's just got to be, is it a fit for your personality or not, right? Because it's different, you know? Right. And yeah, what kind of led you to that and how'd you get to doing what you're doing today?
Well, when I was little, I used to take all the kids on the street and I would sit them down and I would teach them things. So I would say...
This happens from way back.
I feel like it's a character trait. And something that was really hard for me to learn was that we need people that want to work 9 to 5 and go home to their family and have a traditional life. That was the honest to God hardest part for me, because I am so, you could have whatever life you want, you can do all of these things. Once I figured out that there's a role for everybody, it made me a better business owner, because how I started in the hair, well, I started as a professional dancer, like not a stripper.
And none of these roles are less than one or the other, right? But we each have a role to play, like on a championship team, like in a family, right? And like, yeah, I couldn't agree more.
So we need everybody to work like a watch, right? So everyone has their own superpowers. So I went from like an entertainment background and then led into hair because I wanted more flexibility with my schedule being a mom, and started doing that. And then actually the business I started was a cleaning business, and I had no idea what I was doing, but my mom helped her friend at one time, a long time ago, who had a cleaning business. So she knew, she's a really good cleaner for one. My mom has great leadership skills. She was in the Army, so you can imagine what that's like, right? And she had the knowledge to how to do the business part of it. So I bought into a course. I learned and like how to do the admin side of it. And I was 2 hours away during this time. So I didn't even live here. This was remote. And so what I did is I hired somebody I trusted. You know, I sought out the knowledge so I could do the admin part of it, because, you know, it is so hard to work in your business and on your business, doing those two things. And then you have the admin on top of it. Like, how can you do all of that and then also being a father, also being a husband, like, and then getting your own fitness in, and then like the list goes on, right? So this was the first, and I owned a salon before. It was in Oceanside. It was on the PCH, like I'm 2 blocks from the beach, but I am a much different person now. So how I approached the cleaning company was completely different. So I immediately hired out. I had the resources to do that because I was actively still working in my 9 to 5 job. So that 9 to 5 job gave me the financial freedom to now start my own business. You know, that was 3 years ago. I moved here, cleaning company was 4 years ago, but moved here 2 years ago. And then I started working in the business because I wanted to know, actually, what does this feel like? What does it feel like as an employee of myself, right?
You got to know what the transfers are like, right?
Right. And so I felt it. I was with, everyone, and I'd be like, well, how do you feel? And they were like, this is so different. And I'm like, yeah, because the more I take care of my employees, the more that they're going to take care of the clients. And that was a different mindset I had, because when I had my salon, I was like the clients, because I was like clenching on, I don't want to lose them. I don't want to lose the money, right? But when I let go and I took care of the people that were taking care of our people, the business really started to grow.
And then it's not just all on your one manpower, right?
Exactly. So I started hiring out.
Which is capped, right? And like that's the thing with business, is it always starts on that if you do it right. I think some people hire everything out right off the get-go and like, oh yeah, it's just gonna, no, like,
and now you have even more negative money.
Yes, like you're gonna have to, and typically if your business is going to succeed, it's gonna be because of some personal things, right, that people like or don't like about you or work at. So like putting Christine into that is a big deal. But then eventually, like you said, then you're faced with like, okay, how do I buy some of my time back? And I think that, like you said, I want to repeat, working on and working in your business, like that is what, you know, how do you keep it going on the day-to-day, but yet make the moves that it needs to stay organized and move forward and evolve, right? And that's a very, very hard balance to have sometimes.
Well, the funny part was when I started working in the business, right, no one knew what I looked like. So when I'd walk through the door, we're in a small town.
You're like that undercover boss.
I'd walk in and they're like, ugh. And they're like, oh, are you new? I'm like, no, I'm the one that's been emailing you. They're like, well, do you know how to clean? And I'm like, I mean, they're teaching me, honestly. I didn't say that, but, you know, like I'm not the traditional cleaner looker, right? As like my other girls, they're just so sweet. But yeah, in the business and on the business, and the entrepreneurship was so glorified. You're right, because everyone wanted to get rich quick. And you know, when you start a business, you're expected, depending on what business type you're in, right? You're not expected to make money for the first, they say 3 to 5 years, real money, right? So how many people are willing to sacrifice that? And what does the sacrifice look like to them? What are they willing to do, right? So I was so thankful for that 9 to 5 to then feed into that sacrifice of finances, right? And so like now I'm really confident in the business I built, and not so much, it's because of my mistakes I made in the past, and then just really reframing myself, because like you said, it was just so glorified, and that's kind of like probably how I started with that same mindset, but it is grinding, right? It is.
That's where it kind of always comes down to that, right?
You work your regular job, so that way after work you can now you're working on your job, and then it's like your time you do, you know, hire people to hire out, and then you do get that freedom eventually, but you have to be willing to go through the trenches, and your family has to be willing to go through it too, because I'd have to remind my husband, like, I'm so insane, this is going to work. Like, that's the mentality you have to have. It's like, I know I'm crazy enough to make this work, or pivot, or decide it's not, right? Like, I'm not willing to sacrifice our core values.
You don't have an option B, right? Like, it's like, hey, like, I don't necessarily know how plan A is going to go, but plan A is going to go some way, somehow.
It's going somewhere.
Yeah. And you're exactly right that, like, this is why, honestly, why I wanted you on here. I didn't realize until I took a personality test one time how lopsided some of my traits are, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like, and it was two things that maybe made me good at what I do, but it really opened my eyes to like where other people are, that like, hey, I'm odd being this far on this side, and like I recognize these things in you, and I think that's what makes it so cool, because I don't necessarily think, like you said, you know, and training wise and stuff too, it's like, oh, growing up personal training, like how do I get everyone to do this and buy into it because it's going to be better for them and whatever, and I'm like, hey, like not everyone is going to, and not everyone has to fit that mold, like, and it's okay, right? And it's tough with that. But realizing that, you know, if someone hears a little bit of Christine, right, that's over here, if that just moves their needle right to the right place where things kind of start connecting the dots. And I think it's good to hear from somebody who's kind of extreme and has some attributes like that and a mindset, you know, and like unpacking a little bit about what you just said. I think it's really smart, and I've wanted to touch on this before. I think people think, like I see all the time with business, hey, yeah, I'm going to start this LLC. They do all these other things before like they get into the business itself, if that makes sense. Like I didn't go straight into personal training. Like it was yeah, kind of a side gig, and then, you know, I'm still working another job, I'm still mowing lawns, right? Like there's a transition, like with you, like there's people that have 4 on 4 off schedules at certain jobs here, and I'm like that. All those guys are working construction, right? They're not quitting their job and then just being like, oh, hopefully I don't flop for my family, right? Like, and like you said, how your job can fuel that transition, and maybe it just stays a side hustle. Well, like, great, that's fine, right? But maybe it turns into something, and I've always been a big believer of that. Is like, hey, you don't got to jump in and risk it all so early. Like, it's kind of dumb to do that. You know, like just kind of win your chips slowly to where, like you said, you got some security. Now you can buy some of your freedom back. You're not having to sacrifice as much, and then also too, like as soon as you go back and you're like, yeah, I've learned from my mistakes. Right?
So
I mean, like, there you go, right? Learning from your mistakes.
I totally squirreled and did a circle on that. But how it got started was once a year, me and a couple of my girlfriends would go and we get an Airbnb, and we were all business owners, and we would just, first day would just be like, blah, this is everything that's like been on our mind, and it's hard to talk to certain people because they don't understand. And then we'd spend the next 3 days growing our businesses, growing our minds. We'd do yoga in the morning, we'd eat super healthy, crush a couple beers at night, like go swimming. Yeah. But one of my friends was talking about opening up a cleaning company, and I'm like, why? She's like, well, you know, I have cleaners, and she's really business minded. They have all these other ones. And then I was thinking, I was like, well, it's actually a good idea. And I started it at the time because my sister-in-law was making X amount of money, and I'm like, I'll pay you almost double if we start this cleaning company. By we, I mean me. And she's like, you're crazy. How's it going to work? And I'm like, worst case, I pay your freaking bills. Like, you know, because you're putting your trust in me, quit that other job. And I started it in the airport when I was heading to one of my teaching jobs. So I'm literally in the airport just opening up, and I'm like, I'm going to run some ads. I'm going to get insured, and I'm not going to background check my family because I already know all of this and I'm comfortable. Like, one works a federal job, one was in the Army, and the other one was a nurse. So I already knew that they were good, other than me knowing that they were good, right? And so that's actually how I got started, because it's a job where somebody doesn't have to go to school for, but I wanted to make sure I was paying them like a Torrington, Wyoming livable wage. I'll say that because I was living in California then, and I couldn't give them a California wage with pricing in Wyoming, if that makes sense. Okay. Right. Yeah. 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 So that's actually how that got started. It was in an airport.
All strategically planned out, right? And took a long time and really made it all fit. Like, no, it's like you had something you're like, wow, this could work, and I don't really have a whole lot that I'm going to be out if it doesn't work, and so I'm going to take action on it right now, which is kind of the part that people miss, right? I
don't know if you guys know who Mel Robbins is, but her husband had this crazy restaurant. They invested like millions of dollars in the second one. She was super depressed, and then she got in this huge depression, and one day she saw like a rocket ship or something, and they were like 5, 4, and you know the rest. And so she just started telling herself, she started counting down from 5, and then she'd just get up and do something. And she would be like, okay, I see that person across the room, I want to go talk to him, I'm too scared. 5, 4. And so I'm insane, and I changed that to 3 seconds, because if you give me 5 seconds,
you'll decide otherwise.
I'm already done.
Immediate action.
So that's something that I live by. And going
towards your fears, right?
Yes. I tell myself 3, 2, and I'd be like, oh, we're doing it.
And it's like exhilarating, right? Because like you know what's on the other side of that, but it never gets comfortable making those decisions no matter how many times you've done that.
No, and that's a personality trait for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, I think it's a personality trait to get to a point where you start attacking that, but I think it's natural human tendencies to feel adverse to taking action on the things that you know you want to do, or that give you fear or anxiety. And I think that's ultimately the decider, is like whether you use that as a signal to be like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and attack that head on, right? And jump in head first, or if I'm just going to avoid that and stay the same and then complain about why I'm not who I want to be or where I want to be. Yeah.
But I think it's helped me with being like more outgoing, because being like, dance was my thing forever. I grew up, started doing it at 2.5, competing. So I'm so good when I teach and there's like a lot of people. But if there's like 4 people, then I'm like, oh gosh, this is way too intimate now, right?
You thrive on the group and the energy, right? Yep.
So then it got easier for me to then do one-on-one things. And now, I mean, if you're wearing a cute outfit, I will tell you in the grocery store.
one of the things that makes you cool. So, okay. Now, I mean, this is kind of, let's go ahead and we'll wrap up with this. This is kind of how the Hometown Hustle got started. So I remember one day, like, I basically have always wanted to have a car show at my gym. I thought that was a cool thing. Christine's like, hey, I've always wanted to do a 5K. You know,
this is in passing. This is how Matt and I work.
Yeah.
Idea, launch.
Yep. Okay, let's do it. So here we are. So, tell us about kind of from your perspective, what the event was like last year, because you very much were that. You coordinated a lot of things. You were the energy there, you know, and I kind of was the connectors to put the pieces together. So what was last year like, and what can people expect this year? What are you looking forward to?
So I know that I wanted to start it because I wanted something to bring the community together, and being in bigger cities, I saw how big 5Ks were to bring the community together, because it's a great start for somebody who is interested in starting a fitness journey, just wants to be a part of the community, or if they're already on their fitness journey. Like, it was a good way to integrate different types of people, right? And so it was a great turnout last year. We had over 100 people. And we had different levels of activity, we'll say. Some people wanted to walk, some people ran, some people like hustled, right? So
we had some guys breaking 17 minutes on our 5K.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and so it was really great to see the community come out, and they would support people that were running. If they didn't even want to run yet, we had volunteers that wanted to be a part of this community event without, you know, doing the actual running. And then the amount of businesses that we brought in together, that was another way to support the community. And then the car show was really cool, because when they all came in, right, running, they got to see all the cool cars, and it was just a great experience, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, and car show, we donated everything back to, each year we pick someone who has some sort of health issue and is in need of some money, and try to support them. So shout out to Tyler Kearns and his detailing business. We are going to have the Open Barrel Brewery there. Yep. Kyle is going to be serving some briskets. We got some barbecue and we got some beers going on, and we'll have tacos. Wiley Martinez and Marcos will have their ice cream truck here again. Curl competition Insight Precision Arms is going to have that going on, and yeah, we're just kind of looking forward to systemizing a little bit more for round 2, and like you said, bringing people together. So, and
it was one of those things where it was on. The idea was on a whim in passing, but executing it took time, right? And I'm just excited because every year we grow, and everyone showed us so much grace, because there were hiccups in it, you know? And they're like, no, it's okay, it's your first time. And that should be something, if you're wanting to put something on your community, like your community, I will tell you, will give you grace. So do it. You know, it's going to grow every year and just continue to get better and better and better. And it's a great way to end the summer as well. Yeah. You know, in Wyoming, fair is a huge thing. So fair's over, school's about to start. So it's just, I feel like, our one big event before we get back to normalcy. Yep.
Kind of the kickoff into the new school year. And it has, I think it's everything I wanted it to be, which is like something that people would look forward to. We've had a lot of people asking us if we're going to do it, and it's kind of that staple piece, which is awesome. So yeah, like we've just had good intentions with it, and you kind of figure it out as you go. And like one of the things is like, I just, you know, we definitely have a lot in common, and we're able to speak the same language, but I also realized that the things that I lacked, you had, you know,
and vice versa.
Yeah, you know, and like that, I think that's one thing, you know, like friendships, partnerships, and different things like that. I couldn't put this event on without Christine, and so I think it's good to connect with people, and because as you get older, you know, I mean, you do have to kind of double down on your strengths, so to speak. You're trying to evolve and always be mindful of who you are, and like changing seasons and new chapters, because it's different, right? But just like really recognizing that there's only so much on your plate. You know, what are the things that I can really do well, and then how do I partner up with people and have a team of people that, you know, I have some of the things that they need and they have some of the things that I need, and then we can all kind of flourish and grow together and do cool things. So,
absolutely.
But do you want to do any social media shameless plugs, or do you want to tell these guys just kick rocks and stay out?
No, I mean,
where can they find you?
You can see all my shenanigans at Christine Fierce _ on Instagram. That's where I am mostly. TikTok, if you can find me, there's more, less PC stuff there, I'll say.
You'll get entertained. And how about if they, if someone wants to, we have, like I know we're the same way, right? We're very busy with life. It was putting a lot on my wife when she was working too. We brought you guys in to help kind of lighten that load and to clean for us. If someone wants to book with Made It Clean Co., how can they get a hold of you guys?
Oh, Facebook's going to be the best and easiest. Made It Clean Co. LLC. We're in Torrington. And it makes my life easier too.
Yeah. And Made is going to be like a maid, M-A-I-D.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, you can hit those.
We'll do a link below. How about that?
There we go. Yeah, Christine will send that over and show me how to do that because she's good with all the tech and the ads and all these things. So
balance.
Christine, thank you for coming on. Looking forward to the hometown hustle. Hope you guys got a little value. We had no plan on this thing. She's like, hey, so what are we going to do? We threw it down and we chopped it up. That's how I like to do it, and just kind of word saladed our way through this. And I think Christine brought up some great points. I just tried to kind of extract and put a couple key points. So get your notepads out, and hopefully there's a few things that, if you, like always, if you can throw this in while you're walking the dog, driving the car, cleaning the house, whatever you're doing, and it just kind of gets your wheels turning and makes you think a little bit better and gives a little better energy for your day, and maybe you'll act on those things and kind of build some better habits. That's really all our goal is.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely. Close us out.
Done, not perfect.
Done, not perfect, right?
Get it done. You can eventually get it perfect, but you won't if you're like us, because you're going to keep evolving. So first step, just get it done.
Take action, right?
Take action.
Love it. That's a great one to end on. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time. Made It Clean Co., The Compound, Richardson Wealth Strategies, and the GGP Global Grind Podcast. We are out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace. That was pretty cool.